Hi, everyone. I'm Dina L. Nebley, Editorial Director at New Jersey Family Magazine and njfamily.com. And I'm thrilled today to be joined by Rick Dugan, Headmaster of Princeton Academy of the Sacred Heart in Princeton, New Jersey. And we're going to be here today to discuss some of the things that are on all parents' minds: education, what it looks like in the fall amidst the pandemic, what it looks like, how to open schools safely, how to engage students at a very challenging time in our country. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks so much, Dina. It's an honor to be with everybody today and the whole njfamily.com audience. It's an honor and a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. I thought we should start fittingly with that beautiful background that you are, the backdrop of your beautiful school. If you could tell us about your school, where you are, and your mission, and just a little bit about Princeton Academy of the Sacred Heart for people who may not be familiar with it.
Yes, thank you. And let me begin by saying to our audience that first and foremost, I wish everyone health, wellness, peace, and safety during these extraordinary times. I come to you today from Princeton Academy of the Sacred Heart, and I carry our community's love and support as we come together during this moment in time. So truly sending blessings your way. We are a kindergarten through grade 8 independent all-boys school of the Sacred Heart. And I think the best way to explain Princeton Academy is to begin with our mission. All independent schools have a mission that guides them, their purpose. And at Princeton Academy, our mission is to develop young men to be creative, compassionate, and courageous leaders of a just society. And so I pause there because that's who we are. And that's what we do. We develop young men to be creative, compassionate, and courageous. I love those three words, especially together in the context of young men, to be leaders of a just society. And so, yes, amidst pandemic, yes, amidst the social unrest that we're living through right now, yes, amidst racial injustice and other issues that are so present in our lives right now, we are seeking to develop these young men to lead a just society. And that inspires us every day. We also have a vision at Princeton Academy, epic vision, soaring with heart, we call it. And it is to lead a national reinvention of boys' education for a new generation of enlightened men. So reinventing boys' education for a new generation of enlightened men. We believe at Princeton Academy that our mission, creative, compassionate, courageous, is a cause in and of itself. And if we can fulfill our mission and realize our vision, not only will each boy be better, stronger, healthier in his own way, but our world will benefit as well. So mission and vision, and we use a phrase around here, he can be. So this is an environment where we believe he can be anything. And we want our young men to believe that with confidence in their soul. It's also a safe place where he can be. Just be. And there aren't many places today where one can just be. So that's who we are. I'm the second headmaster of the school, Dina. We are 22 years strong right here in Princeton, New Jersey. And as I say, everything we do, our full devotion is to bringing out the best in boys with a mission that is a cause in and of itself.
And you mentioned the word cause and just, and I think that's a core part of your mission that always was a part of your mission. And it really sticks out to me now because I know this is a term that kids are learning about now, justice, not just racial justice, which has been very much in the news as we grapple with it as a country. And we're trying to educate our kids on really these really hard issues that we're wrestling with ourselves, but also socioeconomics and access, which has become a huge issue now with coronavirus, really pointing a spotlight on kids' access to a quality education and leveling the playing field when we all had to be learning remotely. And I know that has been an issue that you've been given a lot of thought to, particularly as a headmaster of a private school, and knowing cost is something that a lot of families are struggling with who, are struggling economically during the pandemic. You've come up with something called a tuition reinvention plan to help your existing families and also families that are thinking about private school for the first time. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, thanks so much for that opportunity. And you said it, Dina. In a nutshell, our tuition reinvention is aimed at providing access and affordability for all families to be able to experience a Princeton Academy education. So access and affordability in the context of equity, as you say. Princeton Academy, it's interesting, you spoke of the image behind me. I'm in our library right now. As an independent school of the Sacred Heart, we're guided by a set of goals and criteria that prioritize justice. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are at the heart of our mission in all that we do. And when it comes to socioeconomic equity, we prioritize access because we believe that the more young men that have access to a Princeton Academy experience, the better off they will be and the better off our world will be. So tuition reinvention at Princeton Academy means, number one, evolving our individualized affordable tuition, which means how we meet each family where it is, so that that family can afford Princeton Academy education. And currently in this context, as we're all experiencing some form of economic hardship in our own way, our current families, it means prioritizing them and supporting them during this moment in time. Reinventing tuition also means making Princeton Academy more affordable for prospective families. And so I am proud to say that our board of trustees and our leadership team looked around at the context that we're living in and really decided to lead in this moment and take a stand and say, amidst all that's going on, that's partially out of our control, what can we do to make this happen and realistic for families? And so reinventing tuition for prospective families means that, yes, we have made Princeton Academy more affordable by lowering our tuition, which our hope then is to provide greater access and to grow our Princeton Academy community. You can learn more about this on our website under our tuition and affordability page. But in essence, Dina, you hit it straight on. This is about taking this moment in time where we as a collective society are experiencing so much, and Princeton Academy stepping forward like we always have to say, what can we do to play our part? And the beauty of it is, you mentioned young children learning about and understanding the concept of justice. Well, we believe that in a K-8 setting, so in the earliest foundational years, if we can set our young men off on that journey of lifelong learning, character development, a life of purpose, whole, not hollow, in the earliest years, then we have succeeded. So that's what tuition reinvention means, making Princeton Academy more affordable and more accessible amidst our independent school market, where we've seen tuition outpace the rate of inflation incredibly. We want to reverse that trend, and we're excited because we have seen families respond positively to this and inquire more about Princeton Academy and also apply. So we encourage everybody to take a look and learn more.
And speaking of reinvention, I think this year more than any, educators like yourself have really had to think about reinventing the school experience out of necessity with the pandemic, and kids having Zoom fatigue and fatigue from completely online learning. And schools are really busy now trying to figure out what is going to happen in terms of the fall. Will we be in school? Will we be remote? Will there be a hybrid of the two? And as a parent, I know you're a parent as well, I'm first and foremost concerned about safety. And is it possible to deliver an education safely with social distancing and all of the protocols? So it's just a lot to think about. And parents are really anxious about it. So can you tell us what you've done to prepare for the fall and to have a safe reopening?
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, I know that all educators at private schools and public schools right now are devoting every ounce of time and effort to figuring out ways to continue learning in the most dynamic way possible come fall. And I am proud and inspired to say that at Princeton Academy, we plan to reopen in person and on campus 5 days a week, beginning on September 9th, our scheduled start date. We have prioritized health and safety, Dina, as you've just mentioned, above all else. And you're right, Joanna, my wife and I are parents of 3 school-age children. Nothing matters more than their health and safety. And in a school community, it's the health and safety of the children, the students, also the faculty and staff, our educators, and henceforth all of our families. So months ago, we convened a reentry task force made up of school leaders, educators, parent, consulting physician, and other experts in the field to really process CDC, World Health Organization, Department of Health, local, township, and state guidelines to determine how we could go about this, again, prioritizing safety and wellness. And we're very fortunate here at Princeton Academy because, first and foremost, given our very low student-to-teacher ratio, we are confident in our ability to utilize our interior spaces and employ social distancing effectively. So we've walked it out, we've measured, we'll be using spaces differently, and though inside the building, we will be able to accommodate all of our learners. In addition to that, we have 50 acres of land here at Princeton Academy that we are just blessed to be stewards of. And so we plan to utilize every nook and cranny of our outdoor space as well. Take it outside is the mantra for PASH Forward Fall 2020 reopening plan. We'll have tents outside for outdoor learning. And it is natural here at Princeton Academy to spend time outside anyway. Every day begins with a morning run at Princeton Academy. It always has. Our boys garden. They have multiple recesses. We have woods that they explore, a stream that they investigate. And so we're outside a lot anyway. Culturally, that's a part of who we are. And our teachers love that, bringing out the best in boys in nature. So now we're going to be even more present outside as well. So between our interior social distancing and exterior ability to be outside, those are two key components. Our young men will be wearing masks, as will our faculty and staff. We want to err on the side of caution in every way. We'll be implementing daily health screenings for our boys before they come into school, as well as temperature checks. One big point to mention is our airflow system here. We are, in our sustainability initiatives, we're powered through a geothermal HVAC system. And so we are now upgrading our HVAC system so that every module has UV light disinfecting and sanitizing at work. So our entire interior airflow will be geothermal, HVAC, UV sanitized. And so the compilation of all of these things coming together with health and safety at the forefront really guide us. And we're excited, our educators, to begin again with dynamic learning as we move forward. And I'll just mention, Dina, because we're learning a lot, right, about plans. And so what I'm talking about right now is how Princeton Academy plans to safely bring our young men and educators back in person. In addition, we are very confident in our ability to deliver a hybrid learning program, which different than a blended learning program. Hybrid learning for us means that if a young man has to stay at home, either through discomfort or, God forbid, any type of exposure, illness, or whatever it might be, we have the technological capacity to be able to deliver what's going on in the classroom to him at home. Every one of our boys has, we grant every one of our boys a device. So we're a one-to-one school from kindergarten through grade 8. And through the use of technology like OWL and Swivel, we can actually get to the boys at home if they are there as well. And then finally, the third scenario we've planned for, which we've all just lived through in the spring, distance learning, concerted efforts at Princeton Academy to evolve and build upon our distance learning plan from spring of 2020. I was incredibly proud of our educators who pivoted to deliver a dynamic, engaging distance learning program where we sought feedback by our parents on a regular basis, sought to improve every day, and prioritized connection and community for our boys' wellness. So in person is our plan to return. We have hybrid backup and then distance learning on the ready with all of these other components that we believe will make it safe and enjoyable for our families.
In terms of bringing kids back every day, is that a full-time thing? Because a lot of schools have announced plans to come back for in-person learning, but on a schedule that's more limited, perhaps a shorter day so that there could be more time to sanitize the schools. What is your schedule going to look like?
That's great. So we are planning full days, 5 days. The regular school day runs from 7:30 to 3 o'clock. And there's also extended day. All of this, again, will be reconfigured to employ social distancing and uphold and adhere to everything that I just said before. And yes, we will be doing deep cleaning on a weekly basis in addition, but also throughout the day constantly as we go. And we believe that this is going to be the best way for us to deliver our dynamic learning program, which emphasizes mind, body, and spirit, academic excellence, the ability for our boys to engage physically in athletics and other things, but also through the arts, performing arts, visual arts, which are core and essential to how we bring out the best in boys here. So in order to get all that in, we are confident, and really I'm grateful to our educators who are utilizing their own innovative skills as master teachers to reconfigure and think about new ways of doing things. So all of those aspects, from the arts, which are core, we want to continue to deliver that. Our boys deserve that. And that's part of our promise to athletics, and then of course with our academic program in order for it to be robust and dynamic.
And what about athletics? You mentioned that. How does that change in this new normal that we're living through?
Yeah, our athletic director has been a leader within the New Jersey State Independent Athletic Association, and we're staying abreast, of course, every guideline. First and foremost, again, as a K-8 school, our middle school sports program is the equivalent of a high school's varsity program, right? So that's our priority in the space of athletics. So they have the fields, they have the space. It will be augmented, there's no question. Again, we need to be upholding all contact measures and the guidelines that we've adhered to. But throughout the day, we're going to be in, we've heard a lot about pods, homeroom concept, right? Limiting the transition and movement of boys. That'll be our existence throughout the day. And then in athletics, also being able to contain boys. But we offer 9 athletic programs throughout the course of a year. And in the fall, cross country and golf are 2 sports right now that we feel we can, again, employ social distancing and safely engage in. And then our third sport, soccer, as we continue to follow, late breaking news about that, we have the ability to innovate there too, from a socially distanced, non-contact way. So it'll look a little different, and what competition looks like, I think that's to be determined, of course, but we do want to engage our young men in that way.
And you mentioned, we talked about outside learning, and that's gotten so much attention, especially with this New York Times article that has gone viral a few weeks ago, with the emphasis on, in the pandemic of 1918, how back in history, they took learning outside. And it sounds, I guess, simple, go outside, but I'm sure there's a lot of logistics involved with, you're probably going to be spending a lot more time than you used to outside, given this new situation. So what kind of logistics go into that?
That's right. So first and foremost, again, and I'm a career educator, lifelong educator, I'm inspired by our educators who love to go out already, right? So even before pandemic, our boys would go out in the courtyard behind the manor house and write poetry under a magnolia tree, right? That's just what we do. And so these are the things that we've become accustomed to. Now it does mean being even more intentional, number one, continuing the spacing that we've been talking about. And I've been heartened by our educators stepping up and saying, I can't wait to take the young men out there or to eat lunch outside, socially distanced and appropriately. We will have tents, as I think I mentioned, so several tents throughout the campus in that way. And that'll provide cover and shelter appropriately as well. And then, as weather changes, we would be able to make decisions, again, with confidence in our interior spaces, but we've been looking and mapping it out, and we're excited to engage in it. So I think, again, philosophically, it's already a part of who we are, and now we get to leverage it. That article was amazing that you referenced. And while anything can be made complex, and again, health and safety is the guideline, there also is a simplicity to it. And I would love to think that in this day and age, getting our children outside more in nature, which we've all studied, nature deficit disorder and these other things, our young children need to be outside more. Could that be a positive byproduct of this all? So we're excited to lead in that space.
And I think kids need to be outside more than ever after that spring of so much computer time inside. So it's really a great time to be doing that.
Yeah, and we also have expanded our Wi-Fi all throughout our outdoor spaces. So we want to engage our students in nature, and at the same time, because we are one-to-one, if an educator needs to or wants to deliver a lesson utilizing technology, we've expanded campus Wi-Fi so that we can do that in more remote places.
And you can do that outside. So I know, a lot of the outside instruction, you're not going to be with a device, but if you need to, it's a lot nicer to be doing it outside than inside a
Absolutely.
classroom. It's much more inspiring. And in closing, I just, there's been so much focus around options right now. Parents
Mhm.
more than ever are thinking about options because of the changes that have happened in education, and because of the fact that so many students have been online, and parents are just looking for other options, maybe perhaps more online instruction or more outside space, and every school is equipped with the kind of outdoor space. So I would love for you to just talk about the parents who may be in public school who are thinking about making the switch and they're not sure. What would you say to them?
Thank you. Well, first I would say, just in solidarity with my colleagues in education, public, private, um, we're working really hard on behalf of our children. And so in our local towns, I just want to thank all of the teachers, educators, school leaders who are doing everything exhaustively round the clock to deliver whatever the best type of program can be. And so here at Princeton Academy, as I've outlined it on this call, I would say to parents that may be listening and maybe are exploring, during this time, now more than ever, we want our children to be in a safe, loving, caring, nurturing environment where, in our case, working with boys and young men, he can be his best self. Now more than ever, we would want our children to be known, valued, cherished, seen. And at Princeton Academy, we have the ability to do that. Every boy who walks through the door in the morning is greeted by me or our assistant head of school. And when we see that young man, that's where the connection and the relationship begins. So to families who are listening, that's who we are. We're a loving community that welcomes everyone, and in particular prioritizes our boys' well-being. And so amidst all of the uncertainty in our world, let's prioritize that in the form of education. And so that's where Princeton Academy would welcome you. And I hope too that, as you've heard on this call, the confluence of tuition reinvention along with our reopening plan makes you realize that a Princeton Academy experience is accessible to you. And I encourage you to visit our website, learn more, please, about our tuition reinvention and our plan. Reach out to our Director of Enrollment Management or to me. I take great pride in meeting and joy in meeting every prospective family who comes to Princeton Academy. It would be my honor to speak with you one-on-one and share more. I encourage you, please, to do that and take a look. And again, we are all, as parents right now, NJ family together, prioritizing our children. That's why you're listening right now. So in that sense, we are united. And Dina, I just want to say thank you very much for this opportunity. I wish you and your loved ones peace and health, and to all of our listeners as we continue to move forward, you too. I send my blessings of peace and health to you all, and I invite a conversation. So thank you.
Thank you, and same to you and your family and your school community. It's been a pleasure chatting with you today. Thank you, Rick Dugan, Headmaster of Princeton Academy of the Sacred Heart. We appreciate your time.
I'm honored. Thanks so much.